Today I'm going to address some feng shui myths in the bedroom, and I'm going to give you some tips that are proven to help you sleep better.
Make sure to support the channel. You hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the little alert icon so you can be alerted when new videos come out.
When you first start doing feng shui, again, it's so hard to figure out what is actually feng shui, what should you focus on for your bedroom. And so today I'm going to talk about some of the myths and some of the superstitions that we can take out, again, of that classical feng shui perspective. And then I will tell you what you actually need to focus on for your bedroom. I've done bedroom videos before, and I kind of talked about things like bed placement and what you should look at. But today I want to talk about some of the myths associated with the bedroom. I actually teamed up with an interior designer named Megan Peterson that has a company called Element Design and Build, and we're offering what is called a healthy home assessment. So we're able to go in and say, maybe we should focus on specifically their kitchen, specifically their office, or their bedroom. Different problems in our lives can actually be solved or actually lessened by looking at certain areas of our home. And for our first assessment, for kind of a case study, we did one with a gentleman named Dylan. And Dylan was having a lot of problems sleeping. That seemed to be his main focus. He went in not understanding and not really knowing what feng shui was about, and just knowing that we were going to kind of look through his space. So we kind of went through his space, and just by him talking and telling us that the quality of sleep he was getting was not good, we were able to say, you know what, let's focus specifically on his bedroom and see if we can get him to sleep better. And let me tell you, just making some feng shui adjustments, as well as adjusting the environment from a design perspective also, and making it more aesthetically pleasing, Dylan's results were actually really great. He was able to sleep, and he was saying he actually has issues sleeping kind of his whole life. And so we were able to make some suggestions for him to help him sleep better. And the point of the story is that your bedroom actually relates to a lot of different life areas. So your bedroom actually, if you want to look at, turmoil in relationships and peace in your relationships, you look at your bedroom. If you want to look at things like self-worth and self-love, and that kind of connection you feel to yourself, depression issues, stuff like that, you can actually look in your bedroom to solve some of these things. So, we spend a large part of our life sleeping, that I've addressed already. And so today I just wanted to address some myths and talk about what you don't need to worry about. And I want to tell you some things you can focus on right off the bat to help you sleep better. So the first feng shui myth I want to address is actually mirrors. And I have talked about this before, but let's look at this again. A mirror in your bedroom is not a bad thing. A lot of people think that if you have a mirror reflecting your bed, there's things that happen, like your spirit leaves your body. Or there's even like the illicit rumor that if you have a mirror reflecting your bed, that you're going to have an affair because it's reflecting an image of another lover, another person. And a mirror will definitely not do that. The only reason you can actually avoid a mirror, or you can put a mirror in your room, is that if you have a mirror that is reflecting your window and the sunlight is shining right on that mirror, you're not going to have a restful night's sleep. Mirrors, they don't really have chi to them, but what happens is that the sunlight does have chi, and the sunlight does have energy to it, and it just reflects on that mirror. You're gonna not really have a restful night's sleep because the energy is just circling you, and bouncing off that mirror and stuff like that. And so you always want to put a mirror where it's not reflecting directly onto your bed and it's not reflecting sunlight. So there is placement for mirrors, but it's not the reason you think. Another thing that you don't really have to worry about is, this is another myth, stuff underneath your bed. I've seen things like if you put shoes underneath your bed, you're going to feel like you always are ready to go. You're going to, there's things like if you put suitcases or luggage under your bed, you're always going to be traveling, you're going to be restless. Or things like if you put just like there's clutter under your bed, you're not going to sleep well, stuff like that. That's not really true. A lot of the psychological effect from the clutter is we do have an effect to us, and it does inhibit the chi flow or the energy flow in your space. So you don't want clutter. However, sometimes we're limited and we have to store stuff underneath our bed. And if we have to do this, what I would recommend is just kind of taking it out and dusting on there often and keeping it organized, okay? There's nothing actually wrong with sleeping over stuff or using under the bed storage. This is another one of those feng shui myths that you actually don't have to worry about. What you do have to focus on for your room is actually bedroom clutter, okay? We want to take the bedroom clutter out, and we don't want to have a lot of stuff collecting dust for us visually. If we have stuff on the shelves, we have to make sure those shelves are not over our head when we're sleeping. So never place a shelf over your bed to negate this clutter, okay? You just want to declutter your room and not have a lot of stuff in there, and of course not visual clutter, okay? Another thing you do not have to worry about in the bedroom that's a little bit of a myth is color. Color is one of the biggest feng shui myths, I think, or superstitions that kind of, anytime you look up anything about feng shui, you see what you should paint your room, right? So this is not necessarily true. Color doesn't actually color doesn't actually have chi flow to it. So no matter what we're doing, or no matter what we paint our space, it's not going to add that element to it. The elements actually have to be a real element. So, if we want to add the element of metal, we actually have to add like metal statues or vases or some, actual metal objects. If we want to add wood, we actually have to add plants. We can't just add pictures of things and colors of things. A while back, it was hilarious. I saw on it was like a feng shui blog that this man had actually, a feng shui practitioner, had actually recommended somebody paint triangles all over their room so they could add the fire element into their room. Do not do this. Not only is it visually unappealing, psychologically, you're not going to feel rested in a room that has so many patterns, okay? Especially if you're painting it red. So use color psychology when you're picking a color, and use like muted colors. And I know, so that's one of the things we actually did is, so Megan is actually, from a design perspective, is actually able to go in and choose, a color scheme or palette that is visually appealing as well as restful. So it's more about the psychology and the way it makes you feel than it is about the actual colors and trying to add a certain element using paint. That's not how classical feng shui works. Another myth is that you're not supposed to have books or a work desk in your room. This really limits us in terms of placement of things, especially if we live in a smaller space or, in efficiency, we do have to have a work room in our room. Maybe you're even in a dorm room or something. So you're like, oh no, it's bad feng shui. It's actually not. We work with the space that we get. What you could do then, if you have a work desk in your room, is you can actually use a little bit of an advanced technique that, if you're really interested in, you could message me and we could talk about it. But there's a method to arranging your furniture within a space and tapping into certain energies by using different like walls and stuff like that. So you could definitely do that and arrange your space based on, it's a flying star method, what it's called, flying star method. And so you could use these flying stars, which is really just planetary alignments and stuff. You can actually just use these and use a better space in the room after mapping out the energy. So again, if you're really interested in that, it's a little bit of an advanced technique, but we can talk about it. So all in all, books and work desk is not bad in your space. It really doesn't cause unrest and stuff like that. If visually it's not appealing to you, you can always do something like hanging a little bit of fabric over the books. You know, I've seen that done, and it does add a nice little soft touch, and it makes it not so visually unappealing. So again, it's not really necessarily the flow of chi, you know, which is what classical feng shui focuses on, but more about having that visual clutter out of your mind. And of course, if we can keep things organized and keep clutter off of our space, this does lead to better flow around our space. Some other things that we actually do need to think about to improve our sleep quality is actually that bed placement. I've talked about bed placement before, and from a classical feng shui perspective, bed placement is probably the most important thing you can do to your room, is to look at where your door is and make sure that your bed is in a good space in relation to that door. Okay, you can check out my other bedroom video. I'm not going to get into that too much. I will just let you check that. But bed placement is very important, as well as having a headboard. Having a headboard on your bed is very important, because it's almost like that backing that receives, that activates your bed, that receives the energy. It's really interesting how it works. But you definitely need a headboard for your bed. That's another thing that will help you get a better night's sleep. Another thing you can do that's not really feng shui related, and a lot of people worry about, is the imagery within their room. You don't necessarily have to worry about certain pictures and certain elements, or you can't put a picture of a boat or something in your room. That's not true. It's not going to add an element of water if you put a picture of a boat. This is just not how it works, okay? What you can make sure you do is, again, it's more of a psychological effect, that you really do have to have a relaxing imagery and some stuff like that inside your room. If you have a really harsh imagery in your room, then you might, you're laying in bed and you're looking at, these crazy pictures, like, and so make sure you do include something that's relaxed and visually appealing to the eye, and really psychologically. One thing you definitely want to avoid to make yourself sleep better is a water feature, okay? Water features are beautiful and they're amazing, and most people love them. Like they love this video, which you can put your little thumbs up on this video. Shameless plug, okay? Most people love water features. They really like them. It's a good activator of just energy, of the chi flow for a certain area of your home. But you want to avoid putting this in your bedroom. And the reason is because your bedroom is supposed to be a place that's restful and a really what is called a yin environment. The yin environment is very calm, relaxing. It's the feminine side of things, the calm side of things, the dormant, or that side of things. And the yang energy is what water produces. So you don't want to include water features in your room, because you will definitely not be sleeping well. And the same goes if you have a water feature, maybe even outside of your space. Maybe you have like a little pond or something, and it's really noisy. So having all of that noise from the water, either internally or externally, will definitely lead to a restless night's sleep. So avoid water features to get a better night's sleep. All right, guys, if you enjoyed today's content, I would love if you gave me a little like. Ask me questions. Do you have questions about your bed placement, something like that? Leave a comment below, and if you see fit, please give me a like, do the alert thing, and the subscribe thing. So again, visit my website, fengshuibycandice.com, to have access to all the content as well as the interactive forum.